This is the last video of 3. We've been doing the wire harnesses, and so this is what the finished product will look like right here. So I'll give you a quick run through of what all we got here. We got a PCM, it's been flashed, VATs have been deleted, it's ready to run. We also have fuse block here. You have a fuse for constant power, one for the injectors along with the PCM ignition, and one for each coil. You also have the two relays here. One is for the fuel pump, one is for the ignition. This is a true 3-wire hookup. We have ignition power here, and it's labeled as such. We also have fuel pump. This goes directly to the fuel pump. We also have battery. This goes straight to the battery. If you look, fuel pump wire is not a little thin, cheap little wire in comparison, especially to what we have here for the ignition. So if you were running a heavy duty fuel pump, this will handle it. It's about 14 gauge wire. We also have here data link connector in case you want to tune your PCM. If you have any issues, check engine lights, anything you want to diagnose, here you go. We also have the check engine light wire. So the PCM grounds that, and it's labeled MIL. PCM grounds this, sends the ground on this wire here if it wants to turn on the check engine light. So your check engine light has to have power running to it when the ignition switch is on. You also have the TAC wire here. From the stock PCM, it'll put out a 4-cylinder signal, but you can go into it if you wanted to tune it later, upgrade it, change it to an 8-cylinder pulse. If you're using something like Autometer TAC or something like that, they usually have a setting on them for 4-cylinder, and it'll read just fine. What we have here is a braided wire loom. So this isn't the regular convoluted kind, but it's a little bit nicer quality. This is a $30 upgrade, usually what I charge for this, and that pretty much covers the actual loom itself and shipping, getting it here to us. We also have a map sensor. We're going to probably mount that right up in the back on the elbow. We also have injectors on the passenger side, coil connector. Going down on the passenger side, crank sensor sits right behind the starter. In the back here we have cam position sensor. We also have the knock sensor. Coming along to the driver's side, we have labeled number 1. So if you find number 1, you'll know where all the rest go. 1, 3, 5, 7. Ignition coil. Opposite side 2, 4, 6, 8. Ignition coil. And then on the side, on the driver's side, we also have the coolant temp sensor. For a low mount alternator, we have the alternator connector. You see it's lengthened a little long so that we can make it down to a low mount. We have a ground strap that we need to hook up. Also in the back of the block, you use a bell housing bolt for the trans or something, we got another ground strap. Passenger side, we have the idle air control. Right here we have throttle position. We also have a intake air temp sensor. Now the truck harness came with a mass airflow, but since this harness will not be using a mass airflow sensor, what we need is an intake air temp sensor, because with the trucks, intake air temp sensor is part of the mass airflow sensors. All 2 components in one. But this is like the LS1 where they're separate. LS1 has a mass airflow sensor, and separately the F bodies have an intake air temp sensor. And so that's what we have here for that, which can be mounted anywhere before the throttle body. And you can even mount it in the intake. I've heard of people mounting them in the intake. So this is it. If you notice, the harness has been done and it has been stretched out a very long way, and that's because the PCM will be mounted inside the car. And so that's pretty much it. This is it. The harness is done, and this will go to a hopefully very satisfied customer, and he'll be doing some driving, some good driving. So this is it. Until next time, enjoy your day and be safe.